Hey, good evening. It's me again. It is 2000 hours on a Tuesday evening here in the Pacific Standard Time of the Northwest. Did I say that right? Here in the Northwest of Pacific Standard Time. That's how I should have said it. But anyway, why I am here again tonight harassing you folks is because I've got a few questions with regards to. These questions are from back home in the Philippines, from friends of mine who are worried that we are either playing a deterrence game with China or we are clamoring for armed conflict with China because of a particular weapon system that has been uh, uh, um, this was the right term, that has been left behind by the United States, which is the Typhon missile system. No, it's not pronounced Typhoon. It's Typhon. Typhoon is the name of hurricanes and cyclones that originates in the Western Pacific, right? Typhoon. Typhon, with one single O, is a Greek mythological character. I don't know what it is about, but that's what it is. So it's pronounced Typhon. Okay. So I had like three friends communicate with me. Hey Marcus, is this thing gonna is this gonna be used as a deterrent, or we're just playing chicken with China here? All right. I created two videos about this missile system and what it is, what are its capabilities, and how it started as a medium range missile system for the United States military, primarily for the United States Army. And I do believe three batteries of it were used as training purposes by the United States Army, how it was deployed to the northern island of Luzon in the Philippines. It was shipped directly from Joint Base Lewis McChord here in the Pacific Northwest in Washington, which is about 50 miles south of me. So they were doing some training exercises on how to deploy this missile system effectively, or how long it would take for it to be deployed as shipped from the western part of the United States, which is where some of these missile systems are based, to be shipped to the Southeast Asian section of the South China Sea. I'm talking about the Philippines, right? If you know your geography well. But anyway, so three batteries of it were used as training. None of it were fired. None of it was ever used as, from my understanding, from what I have learned, it was not. It was turned on for training purposes, but no Chinese military assets were ever tracked, right? So for you, and of course, if it wasn't on to be tracked, if it wasn't tracked, if it was not tracking anything, a naval vessel, an air asset, then obviously you can't fire it. I mean, we are civilized here, unlike the other countries of the axis of evil that Bush called, right? So, that being said, the training exercise involved the deployment and supposedly the return of those batteries. Now, here's where the fun starts. Here's what the tricky part of this was. Ultimately, a satellite image of one single battery of the Typhon missile system was shown after the exercise was conducted. So, whether it was left there for purposely or accidentally, I don't think the United States Army really forgot to load it into a C-17 cargo aircraft and ship back to Joint Base Lewis McChord here in Washington. You know, like they're supplying. Oh, we're missing a missile system, right? So now the Chinese government is making a big fuss out of this, that it is endangering the balance of power in the Southeast China Sea region. My fellow Filipino countrymen, just to lay down the facts, you can Google this, But this is from what I know. And look, I'm not no retired admiral here. I don't have a master's degree in geopolitics. But what I know is that, mga kababayan ko, there are thousands of Chinese missiles that has outranged the 7,000 islands of the Philippines all the way to Guam, that can strike Guam in Hawaii. There are a few ICB, intercontinental ballistic missiles now, that China possesses that can strike the US mainland. So if you think that the Philippines is not going to be a target, well, continue listening to what the internet says. Now, what am I? I am nothing. I'm just a retired Navy squid that does his homework and reads this stuff and basically pluck out. This is in public information from Naval, Air Force, and Army websites, okay, that are validated and corroborated by their, we call them media specialists in the Navy, right? But you can Google this up, right? If you want, you can ask me a question here when I publish this thing on YouTube. But there are thousands of missiles, and we don't have any. Well, why is that? Because from the 80s, when we started signing the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Agreement, wherein intermediate range ballistic missiles between the ranges of 500 and 5,000 miles are, where we signed that agreement with Russia, okay? So we cannot violate that. But 3 years ago, Russia kind of tore that paper up and says, no, we're not abiding by this. So now we're stuck. We don't have a missile system in that range vicinity. While in the last 10 years, China has been building, deploying said missile system in those ranges for their strategic rocket forces. It's a different branch of the PLA, People's Liberation Army. Like the PLA has its own Navy, PLAN. Okay, they have their own rocket services. It's just like what we call our, I don't know, our space force. That's a different topic of conversation. So, mga kababayan ko, now what that means in English is that my countrymen back home, you are worried about a battery Typhon missiles that's gonna break deterrence. China, well, keep drinking that Kool-Aid, because they already have hundreds, if not thousands of them pointed at us. What is a battery of a missile system? It consists of 4 carriage cells of 4 missiles each. So basically 16 missiles, man. Come on. While the PLAN is ramming our ships in our own water. What are you guys complaining about? When it's time to go, I'm sorry, but when it's time to go, we gotta go. We gotta go to war. And we're just gonna complain that we are offending the Chinese all of a sudden because of 16 missiles? Come on, man. So, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be ranting like this, but we are all peaceful, loving, folks back home. Since, what is it? The Japanese surrendered in 1945. Most of our military success has been against our own people, against communists in the Luzon Hills, in the Visayan region, and the Moro National Liberation Front. In my time, I don't know what they're called now, okay? Down south in the Mindanao areas. And there's only one group of people that's been assisting us. And we have basically not asked their help for any assistance when it comes to manpower. We don't need it. We could fight our own, can't we? But yet this time, you got a bully down the road which has all the resources to build whatever they want, including point missile systems at us. So don't complain where we have 16, a battery of missile system that totals 16 missiles, right? So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to imply here. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully my 3 friends understood what I was just saying. Sorry for the rant, but lately, this is what I've been receiving. So normally I publish real estate videos and stuff like that, but not tonight. So to the men and women out there that are currently serving, come on home, especially if you're forward deployed, all right? There are people out here waiting for you. I thank you for what you do, because without you doing what you do, we in the retired community are not able to do what we do. So you guys enjoy the evening. Post.